Yesterday, in the tournament that I really wasn't talking about, which I every year people are like, why isn't he talking about the World Juniors? Because it's the World Juniors. I don't find there's as much interest in how countries do as how players turn out from the tournament. Which ones have their stock rise? Which ones have their stock fall? And which ones have some kind of a fallout like this? Klim Kostin, uh, prospect of the St. Louis Blues, Um, tossed his helmet yesterday and gave his watch for being a top three player to someone off camera, so he didn't want anything to do with it. It reminds me of last year was Leah Anderson, I believe, that took his silver medal and tossed it. And people got mad at him and oh, you're a poor sport and blah 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 blah. It's a year later, nobody cares. And this part of the reason why with the tournament I try not to blow any of this stuff up because yeah, we forget. Within a couple of years, most is forgotten, if not all. And it's yeah, it's all part of the game, and there's emotions that are going to run high. And in Kostin's case, they ran high. The Russians were being booed, and there was a goal that was called back that, according to Kostin, would have counted in the NHL. And yes, he's probably right. It probably would have counted in the NHL. But you're not in the NHL. You're playing double IHF rules, which Don Cherry had a few choice words about how it shouldn't be double IHF rules. I would answer with Don. It's a double IHF tournament, so it's double IHF rules. That's kind of how it works. But that aside, Kostin has been singled out now by the fans as the captain of the Russian team, and a lot of talk about how Canadians boo Russians, which is news to me. Because I don't boo the Russian team. I don't. There have been too many good players that have come out of the Russian teams that have ended up playing for teams I cheer for. I don't boo a country. That's just weird. But I get it. Kostin was the one that took a lot of flack, and then when the crowd booed him for him throwing his helmet and just during the game kind of stuff, he mouthed a couple of unsavory words at the audience. Now tonight, or today I should say, bronze medal game. They win it, and after a goal for the Russians, he pretends to stick his fingers in his ears, gloved hand, and everything like that, as if to say, "I can't hear the crowd." Um, you know, again, he's a kid, right? He's 19 years of age. He's not very old, and it is a very emotional tournament. These kids, it's single elimination, and there's no room for error. And as I pointed out earlier, we're seeing a more diverse crowd of players making it to the NHL now than we did before, and it seems like the difference between countries becomes less and less as each year goes by. And so for him, there's likely a lot of pressure, a lot of pride, and he probably wanted to have a shot at the gold medal. That's probably what he wanted, and he felt like they kind of got screwed out of it. Now, him pretending to stick his finger in his ear so he can't hear the crowd, all I think when I see all this crap is, oh, Vancouver's going to go at it again. Vancouver fans are the reason that I don't talk very much about fans of other teams. I do my best not to. Every now and then a word about a Philly crowd will leak out, but yeah, Vancouver crowds are kind of known for not being the most ruly bunch. The riots get brought up a lot, and it bothers me because I know a lot of Canuck fans, and I don't know anybody who celebrated and went to that riot. I don't know anybody who was in that riot. So yeah, it kind of irks me a little bit when I'm told that Canuck fans riot, 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 and it's like, well, there are those that do, but those are the very stupid few who decide a free TV and burning some cars is a good idea to mourn a loss by the Canucks or celebrate a victory. If you can remember far back enough, Vancouver has rioted after victories in the CFL. It's not a proud history. It really isn't. So I try not to throw stones at other fan bases because I can't. I'm also a Bruins fan, and Bruins fans are kind of known for being jerks too. So but Kostin, when he comes up and plays for the Blues, will definitely be booed by Vancouver crowd. Anytime he comes to Vancouver as a member of the Blues, he will be booed every time he touches the puck, is my guess. For at least his first couple of years in the NHL. That's sad but true. Because sports fans do tend to kind of hold a grudge. It happens where, a player gets traded off or a player signs somewhere else as a free agent. You'll boo him for years. That's just what you do. And Vancouver can especially be like that. I remember Jack Johnson being booed a lot every time he touched the puck when he first came up. And it was because of not this kind of situation, but Johnson as a junior rubbed some Vancouver fans the wrong way, and yeah. But I don't view what Kostin did as being something horrible. I think that, these are 19-year-old kids. And again, it's like with Anderson and the medal, throwing the medal last year. These things happen. He realized after his mistake. I'll get to the tweet here. When I left the ice after I lost the United States, I was shown a video of what happened and how I acted. I'd like to apologize. I'm no different than any American or Canadian. I wanted to win badly for my teammates, my family, and my country. The loss was painful and hard. In my disappointment and hurt, I acted poorly. Apologies to the American players. Apologies to the fans of Vancouver and all the hockey fans who were watching. I shouldn't have acted that way. After seeing the video, I realized that is not how I want to represent myself, my family, and my country. And nice of him to come out and say that. It's not going to change how Vancouver fans treat him or boo him. It's not going to happen. And then pretending to stick his fingers in his ears, that's not going to help either. But, again, a tournament like this, what do we remember after? Well, Finland got the gold, U.S. got the silver, Russia got the bronze. So what Canada remembers is, we didn't win anything, this tournament's stupid, this whole thing is stupid, that should have counted, this shouldn't have counted, this should have been a penalty, this shouldn't have been a penalty. And that's kind of going to be the way that it works with a lot of fans of different countries. So for the Russians, there's still that goal should have counted, we should have been in the gold medal game, we should have at least been going to overtime. It's a standard thing. This is why when people talk about officiating after games, I don't really address it. Because every single game, every single fan base complains that referees had it out for them. If they didn't get any power plays, it's because they let the other team get away with murder. If they had penalties, it's because the referees hate them. If both teams had 6 power plays, but your team didn't score on yours, then the team didn't score on the power play because there were other penalties that should have been given too. It's just, yeah, it is one of those things with hockey and sports in general. Happens in other sports too. I've heard many a complaint about an umpire, referees in basketball, definitely linesmen and referees in football. It's a bizarre sports related complaint that there is no legitimate loss. If you ask certain people, if your team loses, it's because somebody had it out for them, not because they were second best that night. Anyways, I'd be interested to know what you guys think about the whole Kostin thing. And how long will Vancouver hold a grudge? That's the question I have to ask. And I'd be interested to know from Vancouver fans how long you think it's going to be. I think 3 years. I think it'll be 3 years and then it'll blow over. But I do think that any game he plays in Vancouver with the Blues, I think he gets booed whenever he touches the puck. I think that's where we're going to end up. But let me know your thoughts as always in the comment section below. Do not forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happen upon this video. And hey, thank you guys so much for watching. And congratulations to Finland on winning the gold. That's pretty cool and bodes well for that prospect of theirs. I think there's a prospect that's top 2 in the draft this year that's out of Finland. Might bode well for him, and who knows, maybe I'll be doing a draft video soon where I say, hey, maybe he'll be number 1 and maybe Hughes will be number 2. Wouldn't that be a kicker? But thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.